Right.
But if you sell, 10 or 12 machines and your credit card goes, no, over the limit.
Yeah.
Now it's like, wait, my sales have outgrown my ability to finance, my cash flow ability. And and I work with companies to help them understand what borrowing tools are available to help them deal with that. But there's a limit. And so there's, depending on a few different financial numbers, you can actually calculate what's your maximum rate of growth without getting more investors or borrowing more money. And, so that's something that, I guess I helped a company that, it was a laundry company actually, and they had to pay their employees before they would get paid from their customers. It'd be a while before that, just a little timing delay, but help them really understand what was going on with that. An oil field supply company, it was a bigger problem because it was equipment, and they sold things for clean out pipelines. And so, I helped them put together that spreadsheet to understand when they were going to get paid, and, help them learn how to do that so they could do that on a regular basis themselves. So, and that really, man, the owner, he was really happy after we got that set up.
Yeah, I bet. Because that, if he didn't have that, he'd be kind of like messed up.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So I guess my next question is like, as we are kind of going to this day and age, at least in the past 3 years, as you've probably seen where you are and where I am, I know inflation is just starting to kind of rising at a rapid rate. And some people are like, oh my God, things are getting more and more expensive, and they're starting to use their cash flow for other things, or like they're using that cash for their bills, and it's kind of like a little tough for people. What do you advise people to do who own companies so they protect their cash flow and they're really their profitability? Like, what do you think should be done?
Right. Yeah. Inflation, for a long time, we didn't really have to worry about inflation, but I'm actually kind of old enough that I remember, back in the 80s, I got out of college back in the 80s, and inflation was a real thing then. Interest rates at one point, were just crazy numbers. A prime rate of over 20%.
Yeah.
It's hard to even fathom now. But so there was all sorts of things that we did to help companies deal with inflation back then. And I actually had a guy that I haven't talked to, a business owner. He's got a landscaping company, and he reached out to me over the weekend, and we're going to talk later today. But he's dealing with inflation from labor, So what we're going to talk about is, how to build in inflation agreements with his customers because his labor rates go up quickly. He has, day laborers, turnover happens pretty quickly, and the prices of his labor can go up very quickly these days. So that's something that, you've got to, think about, build into your sales. If you're doing, like working with a customer for, you say, hey, I'm going to work with you for the next year, or, if you just say, here's the price, and you're basing that on your costs today, you could get into some real trouble 6 months or a year down the line.
Right.
And so, having indexing is what they would call it, say with the consumer price index, and we're going to raise our prices as our costs go up and as inflation rises. So that's one of the tools. The other side of things is, just, understanding that prices are going up, and they're probably, unless something big changes, it looks like they're probably going to keep going up a little bit for a while.
Right. And it kind of is interesting too. Like, I don't know if you've ever seen these videos on like TikTok or like YouTube that like someone bought like their shopping list, the same shopping list they had like 4 years ago. And it was like $300 more than what they paid for. It was like $100. They first got it 3-4 years ago. And now it's like $400, all that. And it's like crazy to me just how much things have gone up, in pricing, and even just services too that you get. Like I went to get a haircut in New York City. So that's where I'm from, Jersey. And like, I must have spent, I was like, I couldn't believe it. I was supposed to spend like $70 on a haircut and a beard trim. And that was kind of like, I was like, oh, I'm done. I guess I'm done with this one. So I'm going to do it myself, you know?
Yeah, I had that happen with a overnight delivery. I had to just send a document overnight, and they're like, I was walking in going, oh, this can be $25-$30, and
Yeah.
they're like, okay, that'll be 110. I was like, no, I just a letter, and they're like, no, dude, it's just a letter, and it's $110.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, obviously it's been a while since I've done this. So
Yeah, it's crazy to me. Even just business, I can see how businesses they kind of go out of shape. Like, in New York City, like I don't know where you're from, but in New York City, a lot of businesses are going like they're leaving New York City because it's just so expensive, and then they're just getting like all these things. We just like I can't take it anymore. We're leaving, and so like a lot of companies have left New York City because of basically inflation, so they just couldn't take it.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
brutal. It's
Yeah.
brutal. Yeah, and so managing your finances, using tools that are available, borrowing appropriately. I mean, there's a lot of cool things you can do to just reduce your stress and increase your profits, and ultimately that's going to help you grow your business. I mean, if you can't manage your cash flow, it's going to be really tough to grow your business.
Yeah.